Hi everyone, it's Victor speaking. And this is the highlight of Mercury in Aries video. And I do weekly forecasts and some astrological teachings as well, 3-4 times a week. So if you want to know more about astrology or you want to utilize the astrological energies better, then this is your channel. So click the subscribe button and also like the video. So you share some love with the channel. By the way, my name is Victor and I'm a professional astrologer and astrology teacher. So we've got Mercury entering the sign of Aries the very first week of April. And Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. And he represents communication and intellectual perceptions. Mercury is the planet of thinking, and Aries is the sign of doing. So when we have got Mercury transiting through the sign of Aries, words tend to flow without any seconds. And, what we need to know is that Mercury has been in the sign of Pisces for 2.5 weeks, where traditionally he is in detriment and full position. But now it goes into a sign where it is more or less neutral. Actually, we can also say that Mercury has got some strength in the sign of Aries, between 14 to 21 degrees of the sign. And it has got like a 30% strength. This is what we call as term position. And Mercury will be hitting those degrees between the 11th to the 15th of April. And by the way, Mercury will be in the sign of Aries till 19th of April. So it's only going to be a 2-week period, but within that 2-week period, actually the mind can be super quick. Now, Aries is a male and a fiery sign. The symbol of this sign is the head of the goat. So Aries is associated with aggression and rapidness, but the higher manifestation of Aries is pioneering energy. It motivates you. It makes you to kind of speed things up a little bit. So Mercury here will make people show their skills more like in a dynamic manner. Your mindset probably will be very enthusiastic. You might be enthusiastic to learn new skills or to learn to be in the present. Actually, it's an extremely good time for people to enhance their knowledge, maybe taking a crash course, because Aries does not like, what's the saying in English? Run around the bushes. Maybe let's use that phrase. So Mercury in Aries doesn't like running around the bushes. It's more about give me knowledge quick, 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 so then I can integrate that into my everyday life as well. This couple of weeks period may pose chances to participate in debates and even arguments as well with people, because Aries represents the knife, and Mercury is your word. So actually, you can kind of cut the air, with your words easily. And therefore, listening to the advice of elderly people, or just learning to listen to others, might be something which is going to be very important in the upcoming 2 weeks. Maybe this is, if you listen to the elderly people, or even you listen to some type of meditative music. Actually, it might help you maintain some of your cordial domestic life. Mercury does rule over the nerve system as well, so you can be quite anxious in the next couple of weeks. Therefore, you need to be more focused. You need to be more somehow learning about how to be relaxed. Maybe you can do that through yoga, or even something to do with reading a book and so forth. So But let's just explore a little bit what Mercury talks about in our chart. So, Mercury is your analytical mind. It is all about collecting data, sorting the data out, and utilizing the data. When it comes to your body, it does rule over the nerve system, something to do with your hands and your shoulders. And also, Mercury is the messenger. So it does deliver information from one part of a body to your brain. So something to do with your membrane of your body belongs to Mercury as well. And of course, it has got something to do with your thought process. So don't be shocked if your mind gonna start racing in the next couple of weeks. You know, you can become very passionate about your ideas, and you really want to get to the end of the tunnel. You really want to start something. Especially those who have got Aries rising sign might feel it quite strongly, because if you are a competitor, actually you can get faster. If you are a someone who is selling things, actually you can even boost your business transactions, which is also very Mercurian territory. So some of you, especially those, as I said, who has got this transit going through their first house or third house, or even their seventh or 11th house, those might be seeing some increase in business transaction. What you need to be watching out when it comes to interacting with others, you can be a little bit too direct, which can lead to some type of conflicts. Because Aries is all about me, me, and me. So your way of thinking can be a lot more self-centered, and most probably the reason why, because you've got your plans which you really want to get done in a certain way, and if someone, you know, doesn't follow those instructions, then there could be some tension between you and another partner. Okay, so the key with this aspect is that you do need to know how to deliver your message, how to get your point across. So, and you definitely, we all get straight to the point when the mental Mercury is in the sign of the assertive Aries, you know, because Aries doesn't wait for anyone. So, this is the time when our mind may grow a lot or maybe just a little, but restless, and it's very impatient as well. This is not really a period of time when we stand still, or we're going to be kind of replaying a tape in our minds over and over again. This is all about acting on our thoughts. This is all about being in charge of our opinion. You know, those who are students, they can easily have an argument with their teacher, for instance. Okay, so, but the very higher manifestation of this aspect is, especially for those who are working with clients, it's very good for encouraging your clients, or even doing that through social media, or doing that through advertisements. You can really encourage them, for instance, to spend their money, or you can encourage them to change their way of thinking about something. Or if you are a little bit shy, especially those who have got, let's say, a Pisces rising sign or water rising signs overall, then you might have got a lot more confidence to speak your mind. So, you know, but Aries is all about bravery as well. So, when we have got Mercury in the sign of Aries, actually our heads can be filled with brave thoughts and inspiring ideas. We might start speaking before actually thinking under this influence. So, sometimes you're going to have to count to 10, you know, to kind of take a beat to check what about to fall out of your mouth, because as I said, it could be sometimes a little bit hurtful. You know, Aries is a sign which is a little bit blonde and even sweary. So don't be shocked if a couple of swear words are going to be flying around. especially from the youth, because both Mercury and Aries are more associated with the youth rather than the elderly people. So that's why I recommended speaking to elderlies a little bit more, because they can share some wisdom with you. Aries is a hot and dry energy. Mercury is a cold and dry energy. So Mercury gets heated up here. Okay, so your thinking can be quite sharp, or you might just want to be voicing your opinion a lot more. But especially because, as I said, Mercury, it really depends on the natal condition of your Mercury. So if it's a strong one, it's going to be more about speaking your mind. If it's a debilitated Mercury, then actually your confidence can be replaced with doubts as well. Okay, so you're gonna have to be paying attention to that. Now, I think most of us will feel a relief, because from a very bad position, Mercury to go in more like a neutral one is representing something which is like things are moving on in our life. So, and Mercury here is a lot more focused and a lot more decisive. Aries is like a sprinter. So your brain is going to be running 24/7, and probably it's going to be a little bit hard for you to slow down, but also pay attention to things what you say, because you can shoot yourself in the foot. Okay, so Mercury in Aries is very direct. It wants to call the stick. It doesn't really pussyfoot around. So it's very impulsive, it's very assertive here, and it's very hot-headed as well. Now, Mercury does rule the lungs. So some of you might need to be paying attention to the breathing, because you might feel that it's a little bit, your breathing can be a lot more rapid, or you might realize that you started hyperventilating. But on the positive note, Mercury here is ready to compete and to be facing any type of challenging situations. So, Aries would be jumping into action and into a situation, but, and usually Aries does that with the head first, right? Mercury here is more about making a battle plan first. Well, it's going to be speedy, so it's going to put the plan together very quickly, but at least it's going to have a plan. Also, Aries is a motivating sign. So if you are about to make some type of presentations or some type of public speech, actually, this is a very good period. Probably the words are going to be coming out of your mouth a lot clearer. Even if you are planning to do something like a motivational speech, actually, this could work out very, very well. So when we speak about the self, when Mercury is in the sign of Aries, look at where Aries is, because that's where you can have great ideas. But you won't have any problem of making your point coming through. When it comes to your money matters, the reason why we have to speak about the money, because as I said, Mercury is the business transaction, as well as something to do with the notes. And Aries is burning that. So you might want to be paying attention to how much money you are spending, because you can have plenty of ideas, or you have got plenty, or you pay attention to those advertisements, and you don't really think about whether I need that or not. You rush into the shop to buy it. So financially, this is not necessarily the greatest aspect. It's more about an impulse buying. Okay, because there is a yearning for instant gratification. When it comes to social life, well, this is actually a brilliant one, because Mercury in this part of the horoscope, it usually indicates an increased activity of social urge. So a social interaction. The downfall is that you might really a little bit self-centered and you don't allow others to speak. But actually, if it's all about making new friends or, chatting someone up, it could be extremely good. When it comes to your family life, well, in the family life, this Mercury in Aries could be a little bit fiery and restless. So it carries impatience. And I would say that it could really cause some type of irritation and conflict within the family. So, try to channel this energy into more like playfulness and listen to the elders, especially if you live together with your parents, then it could bring a little bit of a challenge. When it comes to work life, Mercury in Aries, well, it can be a busy period. Flexibility and adaptability are definitely the qualities the most needed at your work, because you might have got meetings on top of each other, or you might have got a lot more clients on the doorstep, and they're going to be a little bit more frustrated if they have to wait in the queue and so forth. But this is also talking about trying out new approaches to some of the daily routines you do. So bringing in new ideas to the workplace could be also very good. When it comes to love matters, well, the key here is that the way we communicate with our partner could be extremely passionate. Mercury in Aries is quite flirtatious. Of course, Aries is a bold sign, so don't be shocked if someone is trying to chat you up or like being more straightforward, meaning that, oh yeah, I fancy you, you want to have a drink tonight, type of energy. Or maybe people are going to be asking for your social media channel after having like 15-20 minutes of chat. So that's very possible. And when it comes to your career, I forgot to mention that you need to be a lot more bold and courageous. And this is more like an innovative and pioneering energy. So you can really put forward your ideas to your bosses. They might actually take it well. And, you can even ask for a promotion or even pay rise, especially between somewhere, as I said, the 15th to the 19th of April. Yes. So pretty much, I think we've mentioned everything you need to know about Mercury in Aries. Actually, maybe we can have a look at what it means to have a Mercury transiting through the houses, just with a couple of words. So at least you're going to be able to work with your rising sign as well a little bit. So when Mercury goes through the first house, it's more about the personal reaction, because those can be quite accelerated. You can be giving the impression of being quite intelligent, but a lot more alert as well. So, you can be a lot more curious, or from an intellectual perspective, you can be a lot more confident, and the self-expression becomes somehow the center of attention. Or maybe you're going to feel kind of an ease of expressing your own ideas. So, but the danger of this is that some type of intellectual competitiveness, which could be in the communication department, with your friends and anyone in your environment, really. But this aspect is very good for you for lecturing, writing, teaching, and studying. Maybe you can be improving your work methods as well. During this period, you might become more aware of your personal appearance, and maybe you want to be setting some goals. because the first house is very much about your body. So it might be thinking about, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym. Well, make sure it's not about, not just thinking, but actually it's more about action as well. Have a look at what type of aspect that Mercury makes in your chart. Obviously, it can be making a difficult aspect to your 10th house. So some of you can experience those tensions in your career. And also it makes a square to your 4th house as well, and opposition to your 7th. So it could bring some type of harsh debates with your family or in your partnership as well. When Mercury transits your 2nd house, well, actually, on one hand, it's wonderful for making financial plans. And maybe it is also good to increase productivity and efficiency in business ventures. But I've already mentioned to make sure that you don't spend your money, because we can be like chicken without heads, running around a little bit, doing some superfluous shopping which we don't need. And also maybe this is actually a brilliant time for some type of commercial agreements, or even signing a contract which eventually brings you some type of money, but ensure that you read the fine print. Don't rush those contracts through. Now, the 2nd house is also the house of investments. So Mercury could be actually very good to invest into something. Maybe it's Bitcoin, maybe it's something to do with, all these type of fancy new ways of earning money. Um, Also, it might be the fact that you're going to be getting some type of money through family, because Mercury is ruling your 2nd house. Or maybe it's just about trying to sell your property, which can actually go quite well this time around. Okay, when it comes to Mercury transiting your 3rd house, well, you know that this is a typical Mercurian house. It is correlated with Gemini energies. So the mental processes are very accelerated here. And it's often the case that you're going to have to make an important decision in your life, or you're going to have to somehow formulate some type of plans for the future. This is brilliant time to study, to give lectures, to teach, or to any type of communications as well. Maybe you want to be purchasing a cell phone, or it could be a great time as well to buy a car. But just ensure that there is a plan behind. Because as we already mentioned at the beginning, it's very much about making quick decisions. So usually this is a fast period, and it can be a little bit more difficult to keep yourself stay calm. So you need to be more attentive, more flexible, more like ready for any new experiences. You can have arguments with your neighbors or with your siblings as well. And because Mercury does rule your 11th house, also it could bring some gains through communication as well. Also, that Mercury does rule your 5th house as well. So maybe your sibling is going to get pregnant, or maybe it's just very good period for self-expression, for instance, writing a book or publishing a book. When Mercury transits your, sorry, I made a mistake. Mercury does not rule your 11th house, it rules your 8th house. Sorry about that. So in that case, I would be mentioning just pay attention to any type of accidents, because the 3rd and the 8th house getting activated, we can be a little bit less focused on the roads. We can be driving too fast. And yeah, that could bring a little bit of we can be impatient on the roads, especially with passengers. not passengers, sorry, like pedestrians. That's the word I was looking for. So just be a lot more mindful. When Mercury transits your fourth house, well, during this transit of Mercury, probably on one hand, it might be a lot easier to communicate about your feelings and emotions to people you actually really love being around. But when once a debate is hitting up its head, it might be causing some type of frustrations. This is a good period of time when you really can work through some of your past issues, which you still believe that it concerns you. Because remember that Mercury is your thought process, so it can be really bent within seconds. It's just all about getting to the point as quick as possible. And it might have been something like you struggle with in the past, but this gives you the time to dig deep and then to look at what the real issue is. This is a very brilliant time to do some type of investigations when it comes to talking to parents about the past, or figuring some bits and bobs about your family ancestry. Now, because Mercury does rule the ninth house in your chart, just your dad might need to be watching out, because they can easily have some asthmatic attacks, or some type of reactions, or the skin can flare up, or even something to do with flu as well. But also this is true for yourself as well, because that Mercury does rule your sixth house. So actually you can easily pass something to your dad. Be mindful about it. Also, maybe there could be a little bit of a tension between family life and work life. The reason being is because Mercury does rule your sixth house, which is all about work and daily activities. Now, when you have got Mercury ruling your when Mercury is transiting your fifth house, well, this is very much of a attractive side to you. So, it is all about fun and pleasure, and somehow anything which you enjoy doing. So Mercury is gonna enjoy a lot connecting with others, or socializing with others, or spending time together with a small group of people. And of course, if it's not really allowed for those who still have got some type of COVID restrictions, then this Mercury could be a little bit more mentally challenged. Okay, but instead of being frustrated, try to choose some type of mental activity which help you calm down, such as reading, writing, or maybe you want to be playing some type of games, such as chess, which is a mental um, a mental game. Or try to choose some type of activities which need a little bit of a strategy. So there is a silver line with every single planet. There is goodies and there is baddies as well. So try to choose, some type of game and fun activity. Also, this is the house of sexuality. So you might start thinking about sex a lot more. Now, don't forget that Mercury does rule your 10th house. So this could be a great period of time when you can come up with some creative ideas for work projects. Fifth house is speculative businesses and something to do with um, entrepreneurship. So you might be coming up with an idea which you really want to, integrate. Now, Mercury does rule your seventh house as well, which is the house of partnership. So it might be a collaboration with someone, a business opportunity you've been offered by someone, or maybe it's just a lot more fun with your partner, sharing some type of moments together. When Mercury transits your sixth house, so this is the house of health. you're going to have to pay attention to anything to do with your lungs, your whether you maybe you can cut your finger easily, you can even break your arm, so be careful about these things. You can easily catch a flu, for instance. Mercury is very much associated with the mind, so you can easily attract some type of illness as well, mentally speaking. Usually, this Mercury in Aries is frustrated when they are not doing the right job. And it would be a physical manifestation of that. Probably the best thing you can do nowadays is that you are planning out your day ahead. So this is what I'm going to be doing at certain hours, and this is what I'm going to be doing later on. So have a plan, because we can rush things a little bit. You can be a little bit behind with your plans, and it frustrates you, and then you want to be doing 10 things at a time, which is very, very frustrating. Not frustrating, but challenging for your rising sign, basically. But also, on a positive note, this Mercury can give enough concentrations to carry out some of your work projects as well. You might feel a little bit more nervous or worried about something. So it's like having some type of butterflies in your stomach. And also, as I said, just anxiety, which could be very much around. Some of the fear that appears at this time is usually lacks a rational type of basis. And it's more about just a mental tension within us. So therefore, just think about ways how I can cut that out. Okay. Some of you might be feeling that they are having some pointless conversations. And that is kind of interfering with some efficiency at work, or some type of delays in delivery, or even technical problems, or some type of misunderstanding with your work colleagues. So therefore, it might be something you can't really influence, and that is exactly what you are worried about. When you've got transit Mercury going through your seventh house, well, it does increase the communication channel with the society. So seventh house rules anything over uh, publicity. So, for instance, client work or something to do with television, radio channels, and all those type of things. But it does also talk about intimate relationship as well. So actually, this is a brilliant time to make some business with someone, in a sense that it's not being dragged around, that the idea came up now, we already sat down and then laid the foundation, and then things are only going to start within a year or so. It could pick up quite quicker, especially with some type of documents which is needed, could be going a lot quicker as well. Or you might have been waiting for an important document to be sent to you for a long time. And this could be a period when actually you get that. Now, also, this is a brilliant time to have some great intellectual conversations with your partner. It could be debate as well, unless it doesn't go that far. Because when we have got Mercury going through the seventh house, it really could bring some type of controversial issues as well, and we can have some different opinions around it. Okay, maybe actually some of you are going to be having a marriage proposal, right? Because Mercury is all about asking, popping the question type of thing. Um, um, yes, so that's also possible. When Mercury goes through your eighth house, well, it's kind of a favorable time to kind of get in touch with your inner mind. So, looking at the hidden aspect of yourself. So, it's the deep way of thinking, what it really means. Some of you might be having some type of concerns about mortality, yours or your loved ones. Be on the lookout for this transit, because you can have obsessive thoughts, especially related to death or rebirth, but it also activates the hidden areas of your mind. So you might be producing some type of psychic abilities as well. Some of these subconscious thoughts can be coming to light, right? And you can even attract some mysterious people around you. So you might be interested in what's happening life after death, or you might be a lot more interested and you want to be reading about occult sciences or any type of mysterious phenomenon. There is also a possibility of some type of communication with disembodied entities. You might be having the ability for that. If you have got Mercury transiting your eighth house, because typically this is also something to do with investments, don't make rapid decisions. You might have got the urge to invest money into something. You need to slow down a little bit and then maybe consult with someone else as well. When Mercury is going through your ninth house, well, this might be the time when you want to be making some type of travel plans. And, this might be something which is at the moment impossible. So you might feel again a little bit irritated. Some of you might be actually applying for admission or applying for a new job, for instance, at a university, or you just submitting a couple of your exams. Maybe watch out for the deadlines, because with Mercury in Aries, we can forget about those. But actually, it's a good time to write or publish or give lectures. It would be a lovely period of time to take long or short trips as well, or even talking to people in different cultures. Now, very good period of time to start doing some type of export and import as well. Okay, but maybe you want to be expressing your opinion about religious, philosophical, educational, or cultural concepts, and that could stir the pot up in people. So just be careful what you say, because others might be a little bit more sensitive to it. When you have got Mercury going through your 10th house, then definitely watch out the way you speak to your boss, because that could be sometimes a little bit harsh. So the professionalism is going to be a key word here. But you might be extremely busy with phone calls or corresponding to emails, or you might actually go for a short business trip. You might be having some type of meetings with your bosses and supervisors, but also maybe the government is going to be requesting you to send a piece of information to them. Also, that's very possible if Mercury goes through your eighth house as well. Let's not forget, this is a taxation period at the moment. So the tax office might want you to send an additional piece of paper. Also, this is a very brilliant time to bring some of your ideas forward to your bosses, because they can be a lot more receptive to it. So professional activities are the core center of this transit. When you have got Mercury going through your 11th house, well, there is definitely an increased need to be speaking to our friends. But also, this is a social media house as well. So actually, it's very good to boost some of your business projects, because actually you can attract some new clients as well. So, 11th house is all about social levels, which is formed by friends or groups or even bigger organizations. Mercury in the 11th house can actually get you the bravery to ask for pay rise because this is the house of salary. Also, this is a very humanitarian house. So this could be good for coming up with some type of humanitarian, ideas, which is serving somehow the universe. And it could be a little bit more like technological or a little bit more innovative. Maybe something you're going to be spotting which is a little bit outdated, and then you can make some type of recommendation. Now, be careful though, because you can get carried away with unrealistic ideas, or at least giving advice to others with a little bit of a bias here. Yeah. And lastly, when you have got Mercury transiting your 12th house, well, the 12th house has so much to do with perception, with psychological awareness of the content of your subconscious. You might become like a secret communicator, or you might be doing some type of secret investigations. But also, this could really show some type of nightmares as well in your life. And those are because something intuitively wants to poke out of your mind. Now, this during this transit period, actually, it's very possible that some type of powerful energies arises, which is going to be so much to do with intuitive channeling of information from higher sources. Because think about it, Mercury is something to do with um, well, it's something to do with gaining information. And you can do that through the eyes as well. So Mercury in the 12th house is kind of a seer position. Okay. And 12th house is so much to do with imagination. So there is this mental aspect of the imagination, which is strongly influenced in the next couple of weeks for you. Well, this was Mercury transit in the sign of Aries, which is going to be taking place from the 4th or the 5th of April, depending on where you are located. And if you like the video, don't forget to give us a thumb up. I will be doing a Mercury in the 12 houses in a separate aspect, because I started a mini series about mental issues and depression in our chart. And Mercury is somehow the reflection of mental abilities and mental issues as well in our chart. So if you want to watch that video, you can check that out on my social media channels. I'm looking forward to seeing you again, and see you soon with a weekly forecast. Have a blessed week, everyone. Bye-bye.